It wasn't that bad. And so I started facing Walker Buehler with the Dodgers throwing 100. I'm like, all right, get me out of this box real quick. I'm not trying to do this, And then Gant from the Cardinals, same thing. You're like, first pitch, 87-mile-an-hour hook. And I'm like, I'm a pitcher, bro. Like, relax. Like, chill out, Like,
what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Outside the Stadium. Before the interview, we want to give a quick shout out to our partners, Hide It Mounts. They specialize in mounting for tech, gaming, and sports gear. So I just got these in, and before I hang up my bats, I want to show you guys the different options that they have. We have single vertical, single horizontal, and then what I like to call the big three. So you clearly just drill them in, super easy, super slick. Check them out after the interview.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Stadium. We are here today with a right-handed pitcher for the Miami Marlins, Jordan Yamamoto. Jordan, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. I go by Kush, coming at you live in that beautiful little Miami locker room is Dero. What's up, Dero?
What's up, guys?
And still working on improving his lighting up top is Harry Feldo. What's up, Harry?
What's good, everybody?
Yeah, this is becoming a recurring theme, but I think we're just gonna run with it. Dero, lead us off here.
Sounds good. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So I got to ask, tell us about what goes into the decision deciding to not go to college and go right to the bigs.
A lot went into it, a lot went into the process, long talks, long late night talks with my family, but ultimately, we just decided to go to the professional route. There's no really single reason why, but, everybody says, you want to be that dream, just in case anything were to happen in college. You just never know, so I'd rather sit and back in my living room later on in life and say that I was actually a professional ball player, and not just a collegiate ball player where I was trying to make it to professionals, so I said, I want to be a professional athlete already, and I want to take the next step.
You definitely made the right decision because it's right to my next question. So I got to start with this. You won your first 3 starts in the majors, 2 against the Cardinals, and
four. 4.
And you had 14 shutout innings to start your career. Can you just walk me through that?
It's crazy. For first time it happened, I wasn't really expecting much, but some of the best advice I got through some of the veterans that were on the team, they're like, hey, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you got here. Just be yourself, be who you are, pitch the way you do, because at the end of the day, there's not many pitchers that have done what I did in the past couple of years so they don't really see that often, the mixed speeds, the different pitches. So I just said, I'm going to keep doing that. And it worked out for the first 4 games.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals would definitely agree. I gotta ask, this is because this I don't know if this plays into if you even think about this, but back in 2018, you, Isan, and Lewis were part of the trade that brought Christian Yelich to Milwaukee. So looking forward and seeing how that played out, do you feel pressure because of that? Are you boys with like Lewis and Isan because of what you got, like how you guys did that together?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've been through a lot together. I played with Isan, even Monte. I played with them since we got drafted. I played against Isan in 2014 and 2015. He was the opposing hitter in 2015, where he hit I think 4 or 5 home runs off of me in about out of my 11 home runs that year. So I was kind of happy to see him on our team. But I've been through a lot with them through low A, through Carolina League and high A. A little bit of double A. So it's definitely a journey that all of us made it. It definitely was something that was fun, from the Brewers taking over the 4 guys all the way over here. But as for the pressure side, not really. It's still a game. It's a business. It's a game where we get to play. We get to go out and get paid to play baseball. Not many people can say that. So it's definitely something that we don't really take as pressure, but we take as motivation to show those guys, hey, like you want to talk us down, you want to say this and that about us and the Marlins. But guess what? We're gonna come out and compete as we did with the Brewers.
Yeah. First of all, I want to just say no disrespect to Monte Harrison. I know he was in that trade. Just with Lewis. Lewis is the big dude. We're talking to you, and everybody saw how Isan made his debut. So you guys have a thing for starting off strong. I just gotta say that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a fun year. That year that we both made it, me and Isan. It's definitely a fun year for both of us. And we're trying to just stay there and for me, get back there, have some fun and just play baseball again.
Definitely. And I think big things are coming for you and the team. So we're looking forward to that.
Definitely.
But I got to step away from baseball for a second because I read that you gave a mean haircut. So tell us how that came about.
Man, I mean, I guess for me, I grew up doing art. I grew up drawing. I grew up painting, stuff like that, in that category. So I had a couple of guys, it's kind of hard being in different cities in America, traveling through, like for me, I think I've been through like 26 different states in the last 5 years, so being in different cities, being in different states, it's very hard to find a barber you really trust, So I said, you know what? 2015, we were in Helena, Montana. There's no barbershop up there. I tried to go to one, got my hair all messed up, and I was like, I'm not going to put the guys through this. So I said I bought my first pair of clippers back then. And, just over time, just slowly by slowly, first couple years were like, hey, like, just give me a chance. And after that, guys started realizing that I give pretty good haircuts. So they ended up coming to me. So after a while, I started being a team barber everywhere I went. Back in 2018, I actually started cutting for other teams too. So some team would come into town, and I would go and cut their hair, So just one of those things that it just picked up and got better over time.
That's incredible. You're the ultimate teammate now, You do it.
Oh, I wish.
So I wanted to ask, you saw the Marlins take a big jump in the 2020 season. Can you just tell us, what changed from the 19 season to 20, the chemistry, etc.?
What's crazy is when I first got called up in 2019, it was definitely something that, like, even though we weren't winning as we wanted to, I said it to how many people and over, that you give some guys experience. You give the younger guys, you give all of us a little bit of time to figure this out, and we're going to be good. This year was just a glimpse of that. It was one of those that, from spring training, from just the dynamics we had in our locker room to our group chat to everything that we had, we were a team. I've never had that before where we had a fat group chat going, of all the guys, just sharing things that they do on the daily, just kind of creating that bond between all the players so that we can trust each other to the full extent when we're on the field, knowing that we can have each other's backs from any aspect of life, So it's one of those things that I felt it, and we all bought into that concept of becoming one and becoming a real team.
100%. That people could really identify with that, and those are the intangibles that maybe don't show up on the box score, but maybe explain why this team beat this team, or this team was successful and this team wasn't. So
no, definitely, it's kind of crazy because we brought in, how we have Derek Jeter now as pretty much our boss. Well, is our boss. We would do these things called Captain's Camp, and he would bring in Mike Lowell, Juan Pierre, Posadas. He'd bring in these greats of baseball. And the one thing that they've all had in common with their speeches is that it doesn't matter how good their team was, doesn't matter all the talent they had, all the money they had on the team, the teams that won with Jeter was the teams that were bonded off the field, were the teams that were close-knit, that they thought they treated each other as family, and that was the teams that won, because to them, what happened on the field didn't mean anything, but what happened between them was the main concept, So if we could have that family bond, that tight bond between all the players and staff and everybody, then we're bound to go a long way.
Yeah, 100%. And anybody who's listening to this can at me. Derek Jeter is the best person in the world to learn character from. There's no better example of character. Well, I put that on everything. But
I definitely made myself a fool one night. We were at it was a fan fest thing, but it was like we were meeting all like the business partners and the whole thing. We were at Top Golf in Miami. And I was trying to find my station. I'm running around, and I'm running, and I get stopped by this person in front of me. And all I feel is like a poke on my side, like a pretty hard poke. So I turn around, I'm like, who was that? And Jeter's like, so you're not going to say hi to me? I'm like, oh, Lord. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. So I made myself look like a fool. But no, he was definitely cool. He was just laughing. He was like, man, it's all good. So it's definitely a fun time with him.
Swerve Derek Jeter. That is insane.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just made him a fool, great guy though. Like he comes to the locker room often, says hi to us, and he stops and knows everybody's name, knows everybody personally, says hi to everybody personally. So it's definitely a change of scenery, and definitely a nice change of scenery to have a guy like that, a guy of that magnitude come down and, and talk to us, and then talk to us face to face.
For sure. So we spoke about how exciting the organization and the team are, but let's talk about you for a second. As a 24-year-old, especially a pitcher, this is a very young time to both be in the majors and to have, significant experience. So We know you got the strikeout stuff. We know you're able to change speeds. What can we look forward to on your game specifically to improve on that we're going to see next season?
Just consistency. This year was definitely a rough year. Guys started changing their approaches towards me. Guys started doing everything different. So it's one of those things that, as a baseball player, as just a person, you got to adapt to life, adapt to the changes that come along with it. So I mean, this year's is strictly business. It's one of those things that I'm coming to offseason knowing that I have to make the team next year. I have to do whatever I can to make the team at least. I have no say in that, but I'm gonna do whatever I can to make the team to be able to perform, and whether that may be a starting role, relieving role, or whatever it may be, I'm gonna be ready for when my name is called.
Definitely. So I know I mentioned this when you got on the show, but I have the memorabilia segment on Outside the Stadium, and everyone would hate me if I didn't ask you, what's behind you, if you can show us some of your stuff. So would you mind showing us some of the memorabilia?
Yeah. So what I do every year is I pretty much try to get the veterans on the team, the guys who I look up to, the guys who I've watched play while growing up. It's one of those things that, so I have, like I said, Matt Joyce coming in, his jersey is being sent in, Brandon Kinsler. I have Dickerson right here. I have Neil Walker, Curtis Granderson up there. Oh, where's that? Up there. That's Sergio's. On top of this thing, it says 3-time World Series champ, so it's actually kind of cool. And I got all the Hawaii guys right there, Colton Wong, Isaiah,
Wow.
Gold Glover this year, and then Kirby Yates. So
wow.
I still have a couple more to go, like Rico Garcia. He was with the Giants this past year. So I try to, I like my jerseys. All the new ones that are coming in are definitely going to go inside the garage right next to my gym setup. Along there, I have a blank wall. I'll probably put all my jerseys out there too. So it's definitely just something I try to collect, because later on down the road, it's one of those things that you can go, I played against these guys, or I played with these guys, So it's definitely cool to be able to get jerseys from these guys.
Incredible stuff. It's so cool, honestly, I gotta say.
Yeah, and I have one. Do you guys know who Chase Numata is? So he was a minor leaguer with the Phillies for 7 years or something like that. He went to Detroit and the Yankees. So he passed away back in 2019 or 2018, I believe, one of those years. 19, sorry. Last year in the middle of the season. He's one of the guys that I grew up with for a while. But no, I told his sister and his family that his jersey's going to sit on that wall until I leave this house. He's going to go up in my next house. It's one of those that he was one of my catching coaches all growing up through high school. So I had to have gotten one of his jerseys inside of here too.
Of course, you got to pay respects to the guys, you learn.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely one of those guys that I try to mimic myself after. He's one of the guys that no matter what room he walks into, people smile. So he always has a positive vibe. And I mean, he's one of those guys that I've always looked up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just saying, as a Yankees fan, I don't like the Mets, and I'm very proud to say this. In your final game of the 2019 season, in 6 innings, you struck out 10 guys against the Mets. Can you just tell me how it is to, have one of these nights?
Oh, it was definitely a good feeling. It was funny because leading up to that start, me and my pitching coach, Stott, was like, hey, we need to fix something because the last 6 rounds before that wasn't all too great. Started off with the Dodgers. Then it went to the Phillies. Then it went to the Braves. So it's one of those things that face these guys, the Padres. I've never had a rough patch of games, but last start came out and I said, we got to fix something. We got to go back and do something. So we went back, fine-tuned a couple arms, like arm path, drive leg, did different things, and it all tied together in the last game. And I mean, it really felt good to come out with those my personal best there, during that game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's actually a celebration of other sorts, that game. We keep it real on OTS. If shade is meant to be thrown, it's got to be thrown. I'm sure, given maybe that the DH won't come back, I'm sure you're pretty happy that was your last game at the hitting.
It was a little
behind the plate, man. I just got to say.
Yeah, no, it was definitely coming out of high school, facing guys 85, maybe 89, 91. But for the most part, everybody out of Hawaii was 85, 87. So it wasn't that bad. And so I started facing Walker Buehler with the Dodgers throwing 100. I'm like, all right, get me out of this box real quick. I'm not trying to do this, And then Gant from the Cardinals, same thing. You're like, first pitch, 87-mile-an-hour hook. And I'm like, I'm a pitcher, bro. Relax. Chill out, hey. But, it's definitely fun, It's definitely something that it's a fun thing to do is hit. But at the end of the day, I'm paid to be a pitcher. I'm picking up zeros, So if that's what my main focus is, I'm gonna go in knowing that there won't be a DH next season. I have to focus on pitching more than anything.
Amen. Could not have said it better. So before we let you go, in honor of my boy Conor McGregor, it's very simple. You say what you're gonna do, and you go and do it. So we have this call your shot little bit at the end. In 5 years, what will you have done? What will you be doing? And where are you gonna be?
Oof, that's hard for me. I guess it's only hard because I don't like to, talk like that about myself. But I mean, at the same time, I definitely hold myself to standards. I definitely will establish myself as a big leaguer in the next couple of years, and go from there. I mean, I don't really know what the future holds. I don't like to worry about the future all too much. I like to just stay in the moment, and enjoy the moment as is. So I mean, hopefully, we're up there. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I want to be a Cy Young winner.
There we go.
I do. That's definitely everybody in every pitcher's playbook, But I think more or less, like, my big thing as a pitcher with the Marlins or whoever I may be with in the near future or in the far future, baseball is one of those things that you just don't know who you're going to be with down the road. Hopefully it's with the Marlins, and hopefully we can bring back a World Series title back to Miami.
Hey man, you and Derek Jeter and the World Series trophy in a picture.
That sounds nice to me. That's one of my main things. Is a lot of people talk about is like, would you rather have a Cy Young or a World Series? And everybody's thing is, I'd rather have a World Series ring. That right there is priceless. And I think that goes beyond the Cy Young, because at the end of the day, we are a team. We play this as a team sport. So if we can come together and win as a team, and we still do good, I don't mind that at all. It's one of those things that I'd rather win as a team than me win a Cy Young and our team has no chance in the playoffs. No, I want to make it to the World Series, win the World Series, have a ring inside this man cave as memorabilia, and definitely go from there.
At Jacob deGrom.
We'll be there.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'll start staff up against anybody else's out there for sure.
I like it. And it's funny because I usually ask, who's going to win the World Series? But after this conversation, I'm not even going to ask that because I know what you're going to answer. And it's good stuff, dude. Winning is better than anything, obviously.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But anyway, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on. We love watching you pitch, and we can't wait to see what's in store for you. Big things coming.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.